Hi, today is Tuesday, December 23rd, 2025. So I didn't know that the time really flies this fast. It's already closing to the end of the year, and also tomorrow is Christmas Eve. I am not religious. I like Buddha's teachings, so I guess I am leaning on Buddhism. But I also appreciate Christianity for their cooperation among them and helping each other out. And they try to live a harmonized, peaceful life, unlike other religions. But time really flies. I'm going to celebrate tomorrow's Christmas Eve with, I don't know, maybe a nice dinner with my friend, or drink a beer, or maybe eat pizza. Then I will go back to Gwangju on 25th. I have 6-day holiday, right? So let's try to read the English article as with other days to practice English. This article is from Popular Mechanics. I studied mechanical engineering in college, although I was more like a scientist instead of engineer. So I lack skills, but I am interested in engineering, especially mechanics. So let's delve in. China planted 78 billion new trees and seriously messed up its water cycle. By the way, I am somewhere between HSK 3 and 4 level in Chinese. I like Chinese, and I travel to China 1 or 3 times each year for fun. China's planted a bunch of new trees since 1981, but that extra foliage is shifting more precipitation to some areas while drying out others. Wow, that's strange, right? That extra foliage is shifting more precipitation to some areas while drying out others. By Darren Orff, published December 12th, 2025. Nice photo. Nerd photo, get images. Here's what you will learn when reading this story. Reforesting areas of the world comes with major benefits, but adding billions of trees can come with unintended consequences. A new study details how China's massive regreening effort has altered the country's hydrology, shifting more precipitation to some areas while drying out others. The main driver behind this change is an increase in both evaporation and transpiration, a process where plants release water vapor through pores called stomata, right? Stomata, right? Transpire, right? Transpire, evaporation and transpiration, right? Transpiration is a process where plants release water vapor through pores like a stomata. Transpiration. Let's remember that. That's a good definition, man. Transportation, a process where plants release water vapor through pores called stomata. It's no secret that China is particularly adept at building things. The world's largest dam in China, largest high-speed rail network, that would be China. Largest wind farm, China. Solar array, Argentina. Really? Nope, it's also China. Largest ancient landmark, you get the picture, right? You get the picture. There's no secret that China is particularly adept at building things. It's no secret that China is adept at building things. You get the picture. You get the picture, right? Alongside all of that building, China has also been growing, taking inspiration from that last infrastructure accolade. China began growing the Three North Shelter Belt, or the Great Green Wall, in 1978. Shelter Belt, right? Three North Shelter Belt. Interesting term. Shelter Belt. Shelter, right? You need a good shells against invading sand dunes. Gobi Desert. As an effort to combat soil erosion and decrease desert storms, the project the country's state-sponsored media announced was finally complete as of last year. Okay, that's good. So the project is ended. According to Reuters, China grew 116,000 square miles of trees, increasing the country's total forest coverage from 10% in 1949 to roughly 25% in 2024. But a new study published in the journal Earth's Future shows that all those additional trees, roughly 78 billion, since the early 80s, by some estimates, come with some unforeseen consequences for China's water distribution. Scientists from Tianjin University, China, Agricultural University in Beijing, and Utrecht University in the Netherlands found that between 2001 and 2020, increased vegetation reduced water resources in both the eastern monsoon region and the northwestern arid region, right? I am a Korean, right? I live in Seoul, Korea, so we belong to the eastern monsoon region. But Xinjiang, Yili, that's the northwestern arid, right? Arid means dry, right? Arid region. That's a big deal, considering these areas make up roughly 74% of China's total land area, according to Life Science. According to the study, regreening efforts like the Great Green Wall, along with other tree planting initiatives such as Grain for Green Program and the Natural Forest Protection Program, with both started in 1999, have increased evapotranspiration, which is a portmanteau of evaporation and transpiration, the process through which plants release water vapor through tiny pores known as stomata, right? Portmanteau, right? That's the good word. Portmanteau. So we use a lot of portmanteau, right? Portmanteau, a lot. That's great, a lot. Nobody can do a portmanteau better than this. I'm good at it. I'm the number one portmanteau. China, portmanteau. So that's good word. Regreen, that's another good word. Regreening efforts. China. These
about
shifts,
8 of the best tools for under $100.
These shifts caused changes in precipitation, directing more moisture to the Tibetan plateau, which saw an increase in water availability, the authors wrote. In contrast, eastern and northwestern China experienced a decrease in water availability, with the Northwest losing the most due to substantial moisture moving to the Tibetan plateau. Wow, so the portmanteau of evapotranspiration really is shifting a lot of water, rain to the Tibetan plateau. By studying these rapid land use / cover changes, LUCC, right? Land use cover changes. The authors also note that certain zone transitions, such as grasslands to forests or croplands to grasslands, impacted evapotranspiration, precipitation rates, and water availability at varying rates. For example, grasslands transformed into forests increased evapotranspiration and precipitation, but negatively impacted water availability. Unfortunately, China's water availability isn't conveniently distributed for its population. According to the study, the country's northern regions contain roughly 46% of its population and more than half of the arable land. Arable, right? Different. Arid and arable. Arable land. Not arid land, but only 20% of water availability. The authors argue that these altered hydrological cycles needed to be taken into account when planning future reforestation efforts. Our findings highlight that land cover changes can redistribute water resources between regions. The authors wrote, understanding these effects is crucial for planning sustainable land and water management in China. Interesting. So you got to be careful, right? When you regreen a certain region, the water does not stay there. It shifts to other regions, maybe nearby regions. So for example, if the Gyeongsangdo has a lot of rains or rainstorms, probably that's due to the lot of regreening or regreen forests popping up in the west. That's my hometown region, Jeolla province or Chungnam province. Then the water shifts to the east. So that's where they have a lot of rainstorms, and incremental weather systems. That's what this article says, and that's a good finding, right? Amazing, right? The evapotranspiration. There's a portmanteau of evaporation and transpiration. Transpiration is where the plants release oxygen or water vapor through its pores, known as stomata, right? So China, it's no secret that China is very adept at building things, right? Adept. And the arid land, arable land, portmanteau, right? So before I go, I would like to go over what I try to remember by going to the where I saved. So northwestern arid region, regreening effort, portmanteau, shelter belt. Sounds like a German word. Transpiration, a process where plants release water vapor through pores called stomata. It's no secret that China is particularly adept at building things. You get the picture, right? You get the picture. Thanks for listening. Have a great Tuesday.